Okay, so the temperature is dropping. It's getting a little colder outside. You've probably had to adjust your thermostat a little bit. You're busting out your favorite hoodies and some of your favorite sweaters. And so it's getting colder. That means that the holiday season has arrived. And with the holiday season comes a change of schedule, a change of pace. Maybe you're trying to, manage all of the church functions and your involvement maybe with your kids at school or kids programs. Now you're thinking about how to spend your time strategically when you're off work to try to get all your shopping done. You're working on that Christmas list and trying to do all of this without blowing the budget. So there we have some added financial stress. So when you add it all together, the holidays, they really can be quite stressful, but it doesn't have to be that way. There is a way to lessen the stress. And today we're going to cover just 3 tips that we use each and every year. And honestly, it's proven to be really helpful for us. We're going to share those 3 tips with you, how to decrease your stress during the holidays. But before we do that,
if you find value in this today, would you just like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to make sure that you get our videos each and every week?
Okay, tip number 1 is keep first things first. And what do we mean by this? Okay, when you think about Christmas, we'll just think about the root word of Christmas, and that's Christ.
That's right.
This is so cliche. Jesus really is the reason for the season.
But he truly is.
But he truly is.
The reason.
And honestly,
so often people get their schedule so geared up with all of the things that you just said. The school stuff and the church stuff
but these
and
are
the
all
family stuff.
Good things.
Yeah, they're
these are
all
great
things. But sometimes in the middle of all the hubbub of the holiday season, Jesus literally takes a back seat. I mean, literally, I kind of think about it. I've used this illustration before, but it's like you have a birthday party for Jesus. Right? You have this big birthday party.
Baby Jesus.
And he's in the corner. And everybody else is running around like crazy people
I see him in the high
celebrating.
Chair. I see him in the high chair with a bib and a Christmas cake, right?
And nobody's looking at him.
And nobody's paying any attention to him. He's
shove
there
him
in the
in the
corner
corner.
and he's like, "It's my birthday. What are we doing
Like the
here?"
toddler that's throwing a fit.
And he's the toddler and he's got the cake in both hands, right? And so this is the reality that we deal with. Is it's really easy to get distracted and as believers, to really forget. Why are we even doing this? It's become so commercialized, and we get our attention on things, yes, that are wonderful. We all want to get the most out of the holiday season, but we really need to just take a step back, put things in perspective, and let's just remember, okay, wait a minute. This is all about Jesus. This is about his birth. This is about remembering how he came to earth and he rescued us. He invaded this sin-sick world and he rescued us and gave us hope. What does it look like? What does it mean to keep Jesus first, to keep him at the very forefront of everything that we're doing through the holiday season? How can we do that?
So the most important thing that you can do is set aside the first part of your morning, okay? The first part of your morning to just spend a few minutes with Jesus, right? It not only, like we talk about the 15-minute challenge
Christians
often,
overlook this constantly and it bites us in the rear every time.
It does. And it's not just something you should do at Christmas, but here's what I think happens is I think that when we roll into a really busy season, whether it's the holidays or any other season in your life that might be a busy season, that sometimes our habits, the good habits that we have in place, like that quiet time in the morning, gets kind of set aside because we're up late the night before, we've been out late shopping, we are up wrapping presents, we're at the church functions, we're at the school functions, whatever it is. We're running on less sleep than normal. The alarm goes off. We hit snooze. Now it's time to get the kids out the door to get to work. And
then
all of a sudden,
all the distractions.
They start.
You get hijacked. Your schedule gets hijacked, and so many times we end up just
really
not even spending that time with him.
to just keep first things first. We talk all the time about the birthright of the believer is peace. And at Christmas especially, we talk about Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And that's what we all want. Like during the holiday season, I mean, my goodness, we watch the Hallmark movies, we watch the Christmas movies.
And deep down, we want that.
We want that.
Yeah.
We see this beauty, we see all the family fun and we see all the memories being made and we want that, but we don't know how to do it without the chaos and the stress. And I can tell you the first thing that has got to stay in place is that quiet time. And I would just say it doesn't have to be crazy. 15, 20 minutes, turn on a worship song, just focus on Jesus during that time, and then spend some time praying and reading your word. You can do a Bible reading plan off of YouVersion. I mean, like Mountain Movers, the church that we pastor, we are doing an Advent plan, which simply means coming, is what Advent means. And so we're talking about the coming of Jesus. So it's a 40-day plan. It's a short little read every morning. But I want to just encourage you, do that first.
Dedicate that time.
Dedicate it first.
To God, saying, God, I'm giving you the top. It's like
first part of your day.
The first part, right?
Yeah. And a scripture that I often think about when I think about the stress and the chaos of my life is Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7. And it simply says this: do not be anxious about anything.
Anything.
It's
pretty clear.
That's pretty clear. Yeah. I mean, like, I think about even a few years ago, raising 4 babies, pastoring a church. Kids are really, really involved. And even at Christmas time, like right now, we'll have basketball tournaments this weekend. I mean, we had all kinds of things going on. And I remember every Christmas, like, wishing it could be perfect. Right. And at the end of it, feeling so guilty that, like, I pretty much sucked as a mom. Yeah. Because somehow I couldn't hold it all together and make the best memories for my kids. And it took me a few years ago to just really go, like, what has to be our priorities during the holiday season? And this scripture just so comes to mind because he says, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which we're all looking for, the peace of God will transcend all understanding and will guard our hearts and our mind in Christ Jesus. And that is literally what we want to happen every day of our life, but especially during the holidays. We want to be able to be at peace, enjoying every single moment. Number 2, schedule what matters most.
Huge.
This is huge. Okay?
And practical.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say with this, schedule what matters most. That would mean, 1, you need to have a schedule. Don't just fly by the seat of your pants, okay?
What's wrong with that?
Exactly. Or marry someone who has a schedule, okay? That's
what I do.
I don't know. I often say I don't know what would happen if Jesus took me home and left you raising our children. But you know what?
I would learn how to manage a schedule.
You would learn. My daughters know how to run a schedule. But the fact is, when you do this, what you've got to really think about is, what do we want this holiday season to look like?
Yeah.
You don't wait until
begin with the end in mind.
Christmas Eve and it's almost all over, and now you have all these regrets and you're frustrated because you didn't have the Hallmark Christmas movie experience.
Right.
So, like, we literally ask ourselves, what are the
What's
traditions? What are most important? Yeah. You know, just like I think about a couple little things. For us, our kids are getting all big now. But one of the things we love to do is have, like, our nieces and nephews, and we have a lot of them. Mm-hmm. We like to have them come over to the house, and we have this huge kitchen island, and we like to do Christmas cookies and a hot chocolate bar and literally just sugar them up, and we have so much fun decorating them. And I know that that's something little, but Christmas is really about making memories.
Together as a family.
I guarantee you that my nephews will remember making
they look forward to
cookies at Misty's house and Brad's house more than they remember the present I bought them last Christmas. I don't even remember what I bought them, but I do remember making those memories. And so you have to decide as a family what's important. I mean, you know, being in church together, obviously, making that priority, you know, being at the Christmas services, being a part of those things. Do you maybe want to go see Christmas lights? Maybe you want to make cookies. Maybe you want to do whatever. As your kids get older, I'm telling you, ours are big now. They're 2019 and we have twin daughters that are 18. And we have to make it a priority on the schedule for whatever it is we want them all together to do.
Right.
But if you will schedule that first, before you're invited to every party under the sun and everything else that could be going on, you know, schedule what matters most to you and your family.
Okay, a good way that we like to illustrate this is what we call rocks in a jar. So you can see we have a jar here, and our life is like this jar. You know, if you're looking at it from a scheduled perspective, you know, it really kind of essentially starts empty because we're the ones that decide what we make time for.
Yep.
And that's the reality.
Yeah.
You know, the truth hurts, it stings a little bit, but the reality is, and we talk about this a lot, our schedule is crazy. Our lives are so incredibly full.
Yeah.
But we're the ones that have scheduled
We're in control of it.
We're in control.
And
at the end of the day, we're in control.
One of us have the same amount of time every
in a day and in a week.
Day.
Yeah.
No matter what, we all only have 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week. But it starts empty. Right. So no matter how crazy it is right now, imagine it starting empty.
So here's how we look at it. If the the choices that we make, the activities that we commit to, the things we make time for, were like rocks, then we begin to put those rocks in the jar. And as we put these rocks in the jar, as you can see, that jar begins to fill up pretty quickly. And you say to yourself, well, now it's full. Well, really, it's not. I mean, there's
space.
You get the point. We could bring in some sand. We could bring in some little pea gravel, and we could fill in all around these big rocks. But what we've done here is we have prioritized the things that are most important. And like you said, having our nephews and nieces, kids around the table, baking cookies and drinking hot cocoa and watching Christmas movies, spending time together as a family is really important to us. And so when we make time for these things, there's still time for for the kids programs, and there's still time to go shopping, and there's still time to do everything that comes with Christmas. But what we've done is we have made time for the things that matter most. Here's what we forget is life is so short.
Yeah.
I mean, James says, you don't know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then it vanishes and it's gone. We all know this. You know this. I know this. When we think about how quick life goes by, man, we just need to settle down for just a minute and say, okay, what I don't want to live with regrets. Yeah. I don't want to look back. If you have kids, that they grow up so fast. I would always kind of just shrug off, the older people in our lives that would say, man, cherish every second you have. They grow up sooner than you think.
And they're running around creating chaos, and you're thinking, no.
This is going to last forever. I am living in an eternal crazy right now. This is never going to end. But it does. There comes a point when the kids get older and they grow up and eventually they are even out of the house. And it happens way before you know it. You do not want to look back.
That's right.
I do not want to look back and say, man, I wish I would have...
Whatever.
I wish I would have made time to do. You don't want to live that way.
And if I can just add in, and this is kind of like a sub point to that tip, is be where you are. So
that's huge.
You may run a crazy schedule, and you've worked all day, but you've got it on your schedule that you've got something going on that night. Put your phone. Here's mine. It's on silent right now. Put them away. Schedule what matters most, and if you put it on the schedule, be where you are. Put your phones aside. Literally put whatever's going on at work, whatever's weighing on your mind, put those things aside. If you're a teenager, whatever's going on at school, put it aside. Be with your family. Enjoy those moments together, because at the end of the day, all of these years looking back, my parents have bought me a Christmas present all of my life. I can only remember a handful of presents, but I remember vivid memories of Christmas. Like, I remember all the things that we did, and those are
together
the things.
As a family.
Yes,
or
and those
church.
Are the things that when I look back make me think, I love Christmas. Yeah. Even though I don't like the cold, I love Christmas, and it was because of our family, right? Yeah. Okay, so moving on. Final tip. Tip number 3: protect your downtime. What do I mean? Protect your downtime. Here's what I mean.
What you do.
When you are scheduling what matters most, there's only 7 days in the week. You cannot schedule something on every single night of the week and think that you are going to be able to make it through the holiday season without stress, because your body... You only get one body, right?
You weren't made for that.
You were not
made.
You're not a robot. Yeah. You need sleep. You need rest. And so you have to be intentional. And even if it's only one night, like personally, with our family right now, in this season of life, I'm just going to shoot it straight. We get maybe one night at home a week, but we covet that one night. And we literally, I don't even care, and some of you guys are going to think so bad of me. There might be dishes in the sink. And I don't care.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to tell
Are
myself.
you kidding me?
I will literally, that is like, if you know me right now, you're laughing because you know
World's
I hate that.
biggest loser.
But I literally just had to come to the realization that, you know what's more important than me staying exhausted and finishing up the dishes is literally taking the one night
Right.
and finishing dinner.
Just like your
put
text
on a
messages,
movie.
the dishes will be there.
They'll be there tomorrow.
They'll be there.
They're not going
They're not
anywhere.
going
I mean, your kids aren't
going to do
them.
them. So
They
will be there.
The fact is, you have to protect that because you can only go so much, and then guess what happens? Your body breaks down, you get sick, you're exhausted, you're cranky with your family.
That's so
and
true.
Those are not the memories.
Think about the repercussions
make.
of not managing the stress well.
Yes.
There's repercussions. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to
Yes.
be run down. You don't want to be exhausted. You don't want to be at an event where you're supposed to be where you are.
And you're falling asleep.
And you're miserable because you're just exhausted and you're stressed and you're overwhelmed. Again, the tips that we're talking about isn't going to make your Christmas season, your holiday season void of stress altogether.
No.
But you have to figure out
How do I manage
a
it?
rhythm, a routine, a way to reduce the stress. So,
That's right.
so protect that downtime. And it doesn't always have to be sleep, like you said. It can just be, there are times where we just need to disengage the brain.
Right.
Right? You've told me that I'm really good at this, is sometimes just not thinking. And it comes naturally.
It does. Some people more than for others.
Right.
But the fact is, truly, I mean, if you need sleep, then
sleep.
Go
to sleep. Your body is really good at telling you what you need.
Even if you're home, prop your feet up, watch a movie, and stop thinking about anything else. Just watch the movie, let your brain rest, because God literally made you to need that downtime to rejuvenate your body so that you can be more productive and go again. But you need that. Otherwise, you're going to just be exhausted, and like I said, you're going to be cranky with your family.
And this is really, this ties directly into the whole principle of the Sabbath that God gave us. God built us, to rest. He created everything in 6 days, and on the seventh day He rested. And we're made in the image of God and in the likeness of God. And He told us, hey, in that time of rest, what I'm wanting you to do is recognize that you can't do any of this without me. And so what you're doing by you're literally just transferring it all to Him, and you're saying, God, this is you. This isn't even me. And so we encourage you to do that this holiday season, as things are stressful and crazy. Man, just give it to God. Make room, make time for Him, make time for family, carve out time for the things that matter most, do what needs to be done. And we're praying that you have an incredible holiday season, and that it's blessed, and that you, as you look back on this holiday season, that you have fewer regrets.